morning, Bapak dan Ibu. Hope everyone have a good lunch. Trying some wonton noodles and some of the Indonesian favorite from this JW Marriott. I believe that you learned something new in the previous session. In this session, we will start our third session, Unlocking the Future, exploring technology's role in enhancing customer experience, risk management, and operational efficiency. On this session, we will share some of the key highlights about adopting technology advancement and digitalization, dealing with legacy system that has been in the premises for decades, while we are demanded to create innovation, and then technology transformation. Our speaker in this session are Priyang Dwivedi, Asian Sales Offering Lead, DXG Technology, and Michelle Fayen, Asian Sales Director, DXC. Priyang Dwivedi has over 20 years in experience in business management role in the US and Asian market. He has been extensively engaged in the digital transformation of insurer for over 10 countries for general insurance, life insurance, group insurance, reinsurance portfolio. Priyang is playing crucial part in the growth of DXC Technologies insurance products and services in Indonesia and also Asian. Okay. And our next speaker, Michelle Fayen, with a long time experience in technology. Michelle's strong passion and expertise is to act as a trusted advisor for customers, understanding their business requirement and expectation, matching this with technology and services. Michael described himself as a challenge seeker in his both work and personal life. Before we start the session, let me remind you that at the end of the presentation, we will open a Q&A session from the floor, or you can also submit it through slido.com. You can scan it through your mobile phone and submit your question in there. Okay, Bapak dan Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Priyang Dwivedi and Michelle Fayen from DXC Technology. The stage are yours.
Okay, thank you, Buani. I have been introduced in quite a number of ways over the years, but this was the most digital of all, so thank you for that. And before we get started, on behalf of DXC, AWS, and Checkpoint, a big thanks to the organizers, AAJI, for giving us this forum, this DRiM forum, to interact with quite a number of our customers, listening to the esteemed speakers who have been presenting throughout the day today on digital transformation. It has been a great forum and quite a big success. So thank you, organizers. Now, in terms of the presentation that we have for today from DXC, AWS, and Checkpoint, we will be talking about the role of technology in enhancing customer experience, risk management, and operational efficiency. We have divided our presentation into 3 sections. First and foremost, we'll talk about how we are currently engaged with quite a number of our insurance customers across the globe, in ASEAN, and particularly here in Indonesia. From there, we'll let you know about our experiences, like working with quite a number of our customers whom we have met yesterday and today, how we see when you start your digital transformation, where most of you are today. This is our viewpoint on it. And then we'd like to elaborate upon the journey that you're talking about for digital transformation. What is the aspirational journey towards that side? What is the role of technology there? What kind of logical model you are looking at, or a business IT ecosystem you're looking at? And finally, towards the end of our presentation, we'll also talk about how we in DXC, working with a whole ecosystem of partners, are extending our insurance offerings to insurers, reinsurers, specialty lines, London market, and many others. So this is how we have structured, and we are very open to the questions and answers to be followed after that. Now, to begin with, DXC has been working in the insurance space for 45 years in over 70 countries. Here in ASEAN region, we are working across all 10 countries where we have either implemented our policy admin system or a front-end system or a business analytics layer or product engine and others. Globally, we have around 1,900 customers, and we are the largest provider of policy admin system. So when we talk about digital transformation, this is the length and breadth of our customer base that we are talking to. While we are in insurance software business, but we also provide services on analytics, on security, on cloud infrastructure, modern workplace, and many others. The reason we are letting you know about this is, our motto is, if innovation can be done anywhere, it should be brought everywhere. So whatever we learn in our cloud transformation journeys, modern workplace, analytics, and so on, we try to bring that to insurance space and vice versa. Now, this will let you know, predominantly we'll be talking about what is happening in the life insurance space here in Indonesia and the ASEAN market. But we are working in the general insurance space, in specialty line, London market, reinsurers, and group and health as well. Now, globally, $500 billion of premium is being running on our platform. One of the most important transformation that we have embarked the journey was last year in 2022 on London market, where more than 47,000 people who are engaged there in the exchange for the reinsurance and the London market exchange, we are working with them to transform, make every paperless transaction seamless, straight-through processing via digital apps. Now coming nearer, in Indonesia, we are working with 12 insurance and reinsurance companies. Some of them have taken a solution on premise, some of them are working on cloud. And in general, we have 200 customers in Asia who we are engaged with. So when we'll be talking about transformation experiences that we have, I'll be trying to elaborate on some of the case studies that we have been working with these 200 customers. Importantly for you, 110 live customers is whom we are working with. Now, that was about the background of how we are engaging with you, and we want to take that journey ahead with quite a, as we engage further, build on that relationship. Now, let me start on the transformation aspects by talking about where we in DXC, along with our partners, where we see most of the insurance IT ecosystem looks like. What you see out here is what some of our speakers were alluding to in the sessions before lunch, that insurers do have a system of record or a policy admin system. You can call it a transaction-heavy system which is proven, where millions of transactions running, which has to be good on accounting, which has to be proven, which can work for new business, policy servicing, claims, reinsurance, billing, collection, AR, AP, everything. And since every insurance company now is trying to adopt and become a digital enterprise, there is a demand how to interact with the customers in the front. So what you see, customers are pulling the insurance companies to go very fast, as this bullet train represents. The digital marketing team would be asking for changes as the competition changes the market rate or a campaign. The user experience has to be omnichannel. A customer starts from a mobile or a call center. When he goes back to insurance company portal, is that same data being captured? And we saw some examples today in the morning, like where from income to some of the other case studies that were being told, how this has been enabled. So what is happening out here? There are two sets of architecture that we see. Now this is a term which was coined by McKinsey way back in 2014. That was around 9 years back. So they said that when companies are trying to become a digital enterprise, they are facing a two-speed architecture. The back end, the rate of bringing the changes is slow. It has to be proven. It has to go through enormous regression cycle. But in the front end, the companies are trying to become nimble. They are trying to use technology. This technology can be on IoT, on cloud, on chatbots, on AR, VR, security, big data, and others. And what they are trying to do here is predominantly they are trying to decouple taking the product to the market from the processes part. So hence, what they are trying to look at is roll out product faster in the market, and work on the omni-channel front-end layer, portals and others. Look at the business transformation there, and while keeping the core stable or trying to modernize core in steps. So this is the two-speed architecture where we see most of the insurance company that we are interacting here in Indonesia, they currently have this kind of architecture. The customers that we work with, they are working on the business transformation side, trying to set up, roll out products faster via banker channels, omni-channel and others. And on the technology side, each one of them has started their journey in some form. One question which keeps getting asked, I think, since morning is, what is the right way to start? Who has started from where? And what is the trend that we see? I think the trend that we see, most of the insurance companies in ASEAN started their digital transformation with a front-end layer. Another big set that we saw were looking at data. Now, that data to be used for, whether it's for underwriting or for actuarials, or even cross-sell and upsell. Some of them also started trying to use certain workloads to be put on cloud and get the maximum benefit out of it. And very few of them started with operational efficiency measures. So these are the 4 different categories of transformation journeys that we have seen being deployed at different insurance company of ours. Now, we don't say that starting point of any of them is right or wrong. What we believe in is, it is a transformation. So even if you are failing, you need to fail forward. It is an agile approach. Each organization has their own business prerogatives, and hence their transformation journey starts as per their own needs. And from the technology standpoint, what the technology enabler should do is enable each one of them. For example, on cloud, we bring a lot of our offerings on AWS cloud, and there are global partners working with us in 70 countries. They are present here in Indonesia as well. On security, we also have partners, Checkpoint, who are bringing their various tools to keep the enterprise data secure on cloud, on hybrid cloud, on-prem, and many others. Now, this was about where we see most of the insurance companies today in their ecosystem. Now, the question is, what is being done by each one of them and how they are looking ahead for their future? Now, what I'm going to present to you are the 2 options that we are, when in our engagement with quite a number of you, we see happening in the market. Option number 1, you retain what you have, build the new while tackling your legacy, or it can be your core system or any other applications. Now, that is a journey where you are doing a 2-speed architecture that I elaborated about. And then there is a second set of customers, and I'll give you a case study a little later, who have gone ahead and said, our vision, our culture, our strategy, our execution plan are all aligned, and we would like to go for a complete transformation. Now, when you go for a complete transformation, again, yeah, you can be doing it in your own data centers, or you can put it on the cloud. Those are the options that you have. But predominantly, these are the 2 options that we are seeing in the market. Now, option number 1, if I have to give you an example, we call it a strategy as protect. If I give you an example, there was a customer that we have in Hong Kong. They were facing a challenge. There's a life insurance customer, a large MNC, that whenever they had to roll out a product, it will take any time around 5 to 6 months to roll out even a simple product. Now, why that was happening? Because the product will be created, some ratings will be decided by the actual team, it will be handed over to IT will then put it in the core system, integration testing will be done. By that time, the actual department will come back and say certain more changes, the integration has to be done again. Finally, when it gets passed in the back end, then front end, it has to be tested again. So the vision the company CEO had was, I want to enable digital transformation. I want to do away with this process. No longer I want to keep setting up the product for front end, back end, mobile channels, banker channels, and others. So what they did was, they said, okay, we'll keep everything as same. My business challenge is speed to market. To enable that, what I will do is, we'll externalize the product. We'll make sure instead of launching the products in 4 to 6 months, we'll do that in 1 month. That is a target they set up with, and they achieved it. The first phase of the project was done in roughly 3.5 to 4 months. They went live in the 4.5 months. They have launched 2 products where they set up the product only once in a product engine. The backend is able to speak to it with APIs. The front end is able to speak with APIs. The mobile app is able to speak with APIs. Their banker channel is also speaking the same. So we call this concept as configure once and reuse everywhere. Now this is an example of protect, where you are building while keeping what you already have. Now in this strategy, what happens is, you are looking to solve your immediate problems, what your leaders, your business is facing. You can talk about increasing the efficiency. You can talk about leveraging innovation, and you can even look at examples of how to use the example that was being made earlier the day today on ChatGPT or a responsible AI as well. You can move your certain workloads on cloud instead of doing the entire transformation. You can look at modernizing the UX, look at the no-code platform, and that is from the technology side, to roll out changes faster. Now, please do note, so far whatever case study or strategy that I was talking about was option 1, which is, while retaining what you have, you are trying to build the new, trying to be more agile. Now I'll give you examples of the other strategy, which was for complete transformation. Now when you talk about complete transformation, architecture-wise, microservices, APIs come in play, cloud comes in play. But before that, what you need to have a set of applications which can serve your clients module, agents module, and whatever you see in the gray boxes on policy servicing, billing, receipting, everything. It has to be compliant to all regulatory requirements, the OJK requirements, IFRS 17 requirements, IFRS 9 requirements. And then, yeah, it has to have a robust enterprise GL, either interfacing to it or built in. Now, once you have that, or you have found a partner who can help you achieve it, what you can do is, you can do a complete transformation. And this is where we see all our customers aspiring to move, or they have already made that journey. I was just talking to some of our speakers earlier, and this we are seeing 3 times in the last 8 months, which has been done in ASEAN market itself, twice in Philippines and 1 time in Thailand. Now, what is the difference out here? The difference out here is, we are talking about an omni-channel system of engagement, where an agent can log in and see the new business cycle or policy servicing cycle. A customer can log in, see his own journeys, own conversational APIs. An underwriter can log in and do underwriting, and so on and so forth. The system of records is a microservices architecture. The power of data insights is then driven via analytics, and it can be run on a cloud platform, which can be like a AWS cloud, where DR, BC, scale up, scale down, need basis. When you want the workload, that has to be moved on cloud, that can happen. Now this example that I'm talking about, very recently in Philippines, we have done a complete transformation of a life insurance company who said it is a control experiment and they wanted to see what will happen in 6 months. From their own legacy system, we transformed them to software as a service on cloud. It was achieved in 6 months, and the underwriters told us they have been waiting to see this, because even for an STP case, they were taking around 5 days to issue a policy. And from 5 days, it got reduced to 5 minutes. So that is the power of complete transformation, which can enable insurance companies to compete in the market, compete with those who have started late, who are much more digitally enabled as compared to where they are today. Another example would be when we We have our own platform, which were running on COBOL versions. We had a customer who are in Singapore and Malaysia. The problem statement was, we want to transform both the business in Singapore and Malaysia, harmonize the product setup, standardize it, do it in a way where something which gets changed in one organization, it can be reusable in the other. So they went for this transformation. They went ahead, achieved speed to market with their product engine, created mobile apps, created workflows. It was very important because those workflows gave them operational efficiency, and that is a very, very important aspect of the execution journey. They have used business insights for reporting, and of course, they have created an API ecosystem. One of the topic of today is what happens, like what in this journey, what are the risks that you face? Now, there is a risk involved in both the approaches. In approach one, where you are building around your existing ecosystem, the risk here is, are you doing it as a pace where you will be able to survive the competition? Because new challenges are coming. We heard about stackable insurance. We heard about embedded insurance. We heard about how in a taxi app the insurance is being sold. Would you be able to sustain that? Or if you go for a complete transformation, if it doesn't work, then what happens to your ecosystem? So then the risks are there both. I think I will echo the statement which was being made earlier today. Culture, strategy, and execution, that plays a key part in deciding which risk you want to take as an organization. And once you decide on that, your journey begins. And your journey can begin from anywhere. Now, before I hand it over to my colleague Michelle to talk about how we are using this platform, there's a key concept that we have. We call it outside in. We talked about ecosystem of partners earlier. We believe that as an insurance organization or even as a technology provider, if you are good at something which you are far more efficient than others, then do it internally. But if you think someone is better than you, bring them in your ecosystem. We call that concept as outside in. Whether it's a SaaS offering or a digital transformation journey, we have been able to extend the platform of insurance companies with AI, with cloud, with security, with externalization, and many other innovation. So that becomes a key aspect of how you will modernize and how you'll become successful. And to talk about that, I will call upon Michelle to talk on how we can extend an ecosystem with partners and the benefits we can draw from it. Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Priyank. And I would like to talk about, there's many things to talk about when we talk about the ecosystem of partners, but I would like to highlight two elements out of this for today's discussion. With digital transformation, obviously the topic of public cloud in general comes to the table. We have seen that this morning in the different speakers that we had. And that is for sure also very, very true for the insurance business. We are seeing across the region that the use of public cloud is picking up. Priyank just spoke about, our new core solutions, which is running on public cloud. But there are other elements as well where public cloud becomes extremely interesting, right? And with the presence of public cloud now locally in Indonesia, our largest partner for public cloud, AWS, has invested in this region and has a local instance now. This becomes also an option, right, for customers to choose from. So the first scenario I would like to talk about is the topic about data analytics. As we heard, the data, the analytics is kind of key to insurance business, and every client that we talk to, it's kind of what they believe is their secret sauce, right, in order to differentiate themselves from competition. Having said that, it is not an easy topic. When we talk to insurance companies, there's a couple of things that we hear consistently across the board, independent on which country we go to. First thing that we hear from many clients is that 70 to 80% of all data that is used for analytics in the insurance enterprise is actually coming out of the core system or the core systems. Right? That's a huge amount of information that is stored out there. Second thing that we hear from them is that it's really complex to get that data out. Those core systems, they are complex, some are very legacy, and hence to extract that data is a lot of reverse engineering and a lot of work for companies. The other element where we see often challenges is then to make sure that the data is clean, the data is usable for consumption by the end users, the business users. Right? This could be, for example, a marketing department. And then the last challenge, which we hear from almost every company, is that to present that data, once you've got it extracted from the core systems, once it is nicely cleaned up, it takes quite some time to present it in a usable form to the end users. Right? So for example, if we stick with the marketing department who wants to have data for their next campaign, it takes sometimes 2 to 3 weeks before they actually... My apologies on this one, thank you. It takes them typically 2 to 3 weeks, right, to get that data out to the marketing folks. And the reason for that is that it's not just difficult to extract, but also to massage the data in a usable form is something that is typically manual. Right? So marketing needs to go to the data analytics team, ask for certain data. Data analytics team has no time, they have many other things to do, and hence to present that data is really challenging. Right? So those are technically always the main challenges that we see. Now, we are working on addressing those challenges, obviously as a technology provider, but I think it is important for anybody in this audience to think in these 3 dimensions. How do I get the data out of the system in an easy form? How do I store it so that it is usable? And how do I then present it to the end users, right? And whether you use our technology or anybody else's technology, you need to start thinking in those terms. Right? We see, for example, a huge opportunity for data catalogs where a marketing department can just select from a list of services the data that they want to extract and basically have close to real-time access to that particular data. So that's something that is absolutely a key topic. And why is that, why is cloud really good for that? Cloud has the benefit that it's very elastic, right? You can store data as and when, and you only pay for the data as and when you need it. Second benefit of cloud is that all the cloud providers, they invest heavily in technology upgrades, and you need to pay for those technology upgrades. You always stay on the latest state-of-the-art technology when it comes to data analytics, right, in the cloud. So there's a great opportunity to leverage that part. Spoke a lot about artificial intelligence, right? And again, AI only works if the underlying data is there and clean. Otherwise, AI will not work, right? So you need to have the basics in place before you can actually run AI successfully, right? And where we see a lot of deployment at the moment for AI in the insurance space is in the customer-facing part, where customers can be, through AI agents, can chat and communicate with the insurance companies. It provides additional insights in that huge amount of data, which is typically impossible for humans to kind of detect. And then obviously the area where AI is heavily used is in the management of claims, right? Where AI can be used sometimes to get up to 80% of claims that can be managed and solved via AI. The second topic where cloud comes into the picture is with respect to security, right? And it's interesting, different people believe different things about security in the cloud. We believe that security in the cloud is really best practice, sometimes even better than what you can do on-prem. The question is, how do you leverage it? Right, so in today's world, when you talk about digital transformation, there is no single flavor of cloud. It's not a one-shoe-fits-all. You will typically see that different applications run on different environments. So you would typically, even in a digitally transformed enterprise, you would typically end up with some applications that will run on-prem, some applications that run maybe on some form of public cloud across even different cloud providers, right? And we call that a hybrid multi-cloud environment. That's kind of what we see in most of the clients as the infrastructure of the future for digital transformation. Now, it's important that you think with security in mind when you start your digital transformation journey, right? And when you think about digital transformation and security, you're talking about how do you manage risk and compliance in a cloud-based environment? How do you stay compliant, right, with the regulations that OJK is kind of prescribing? How do you monitor, you know, the security incidents, and how do you report on incidents once they have occurred? Because the regulator will make prescriptions on how that is being done. And then the other piece which is important, right, is obviously the data protection, as we all manage customer data out there, right? So it's something that you need to do right from the start. You can't do it halfway the journey because you need to make U-turns. Do it right from the start, and it is absolutely a journey to do it in the right way. Now, DXC is working in this field, which is a complex field, together with a partner, Checkpoint, who is really top-notch when it comes to multi-cloud security provisions, right? So it's important when you think about your enterprise. It's not just the core insurance systems. They have many systems out there, and hence, although each system might have its own security kind of technology and protection, you need to think about it from an enterprise perspective, right? And this is where the CloudGuard system from Checkpoint is really world leading, and we work together with them, feeding their inputs into our own SOC, the Security Operations Centers. We have 4 of them in the world to provide holistic solutions, right, to clients. For those who are interested, obviously, you can come to our booth outside. We can give you a demo on how that works. But what is most important is really keep in mind, right, that security, no matter which technologies you use, is a key aspect of your digital transformation journey. Now, we heard, I think, from the speaker from Income, right, that it's really important not to think about solutions and technology only, but also about people and process, right? And I think everybody understands that digital transformation is not just a technology, it's about people and processes. But hence, it is also important that whatever solutions you choose from the business partners that you work with, that those solutions comply to those principles as well, right? So in DXC, we have had our own challenges with about 250 people supporting our core solutions. But from a product perspective, right, to get from a customized solution that we used to sell maybe 15 years ago into a software as a service-based solution based on microservices, completely different technology, there's a lot of changes that we had to go through ourselves, right, from the product perspective. Our people that we use for that had to go significant upskilling and training in order to achieve, right, the technology benefits that we can offer today. And then the process, everything is about agile development these days. It's also something that takes, you know, quite some effort to do that successfully. So important is, when you think about digital transformation and you think about technology, process, and people, work in that field with providers, with partners that are kind of set up along the same axis. Now, I think we have heard it a few times. I think it's important, right, that digital transformation, don't wait for it until somebody eats your cheese and you have no more choice. Take it proactively, start moving in whatever form that comes. Priyank was kind of giving 2 ways to do that for most of our clients. But get the journey started and keep moving and learning. And with that, I'm a little bit ahead of time. but that's good, I think. We need to catch up with a bit of time. If you have any further requests for information or you want us to follow up, you can scan the QR code over here. And we are happy, obviously, to arrange some more detailed sessions with you on the topics that you're interested in. And with that, I've come to the end of this presentation. I want to thank you, and I think we have some time for Q&A now.
Thank you very much, Priyang and Michelle. As mentioned earlier, we will invite audience to ask a couple of questions. You can invite directly from here, or you can submit it through Slido. That's Slido. Oh, actually, there's already one question. You want to ask? First is from Slido. What's the minimum investment on AI in claim process?
Okay, I think I'll break that into two parts. I'm not going to quantify in dollar values, but there are two parts of AI that we see in claims process. One is automation. When I talk about automation, yeah, obviously you'll have to rely on data, machine learning, and the data that you can ingest, where you are getting a recommendation of how to act. Now, that is one part of it, which is a significant part, and it is all driven by data. So there's a significant amount of investment which is required to build in that data. Now, that is part one, which is automation. And the second part, which when we discuss internally with technologists, is how do we use AI responsibly for augmentation. Now, when I say augmentation, it doesn't mean that we are going to remove every bit of human interaction in the claims process. There would be claims which are complex, which will require human intervention. So how AI can augment those human processes along with the experts which are there in the industry is the second part. So this is the two parameters on which you have to look at investment. One is the automation, getting the data, and then on the augmentation side. I will not put a dollar value to it because every customer has a different journey, but we are seeing in Indonesia, we are seeing in Philippines, in Singapore, in Thailand as well, quite a big investment being done on AI for claims as well as on underwriting.
Okay, thank you. Hope that answered the questions. And actually, there are a couple of questions too. And second question, actually already, yeah. Based on your experience, how does Internet of Things or IoT play an important role in insurance processes? So maybe the IoT in insurance that maybe relates to the streamlining the processes that can play a role in the insurance processes.
Okay. Yeah, IoT is definitely a technology that is there, up and coming, and also in insurance. Right? We see insurance companies that use IoT, for example, in cars, right? In order to see what is the driving behavior of the driver. I would not be a very good one for that, by the way. My premium would go up straight away, I think, if I drive a car. But it's used by insurance companies these days, for example, in scenarios where, the vehicle is the driver is driving very safely, and hence, the premium is adjusted to that particular behavior. And it works, obviously, the other way around. So we see different use cases depending on the industry, right, and the products that is being sold.
So it's really useful for, even though that your example is going to be in general insurance, but in life insurance, it's also going to be impactful, yeah, if we implement the IoT on that. Thank you.
And I think also coming back to the previous question, right, I think it is important in all of these new technology fields, right, whether it's AI or IoT, these are typically fields which there is a lot of innovation. You test certain ideas, and I think, again, this is where the technology of public cloud is extremely successful, because you don't need to have fixed investments in order to test out those new concepts, right? You can basically test something very quickly, see whether it's successful, and if it is successful, public cloud allows you to scale, right? And if it isn't successful, you fail fast and you move on with the next idea.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the next question you can
it's a
you
very-
will answer about the type of transformation journey. What are the alignment required that you've seen in the organization, and what type of challenges you have observed so far?
Yeah, these are very interesting questions, and this gets discussed at multiple forums. So let me try and give you an example. Like if you ask anyone in an insurance ecosystem, okay, what is digital transformation for you? Now, depending on their role, they will give an answer, something like this. Like if you talk to someone who's managing infrastructure, he'll say, okay, transformation for me is to take infrastructure on cloud. You ask someone who is in the marketing team, is hey, transformation for me would be trying to use digital channels, omni-channels, able to respond to a competition in a quick way. You ask a developer, he will say, oh, if I can achieve continuous integration, continuous deployment, that is what digital transformation is. You ask a CEO, he will like to improve on his workflows, turnaround time, speed to market. You ask a CEO, he'll say all of this, which should bring more value to my stakeholders. Now, all this has to be aligned into one vision, into the culture, into the strategy and execution. So one of the biggest challenges that we see, and we echo the same statement that was being made earlier, as an organization, you have to align the vision of the entire enterprise. When you are trying to transform, you cannot leave any aspect of it behind. Now, you can have your short-term goals and you can have your long-term goals, but they have to be aligned with the vision, and that is where we see defining that and putting that as a cultural change in your organization. That is one of the key challenges, and that is how it has to be aligned.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's, before going to next question, I'm interested to your slide about the transformation. There are two types, whether it's side-by-side or modular, and then the other thing is transformational, that is really fast and then suddenly change. For me, a personal view, not a corporate view, I still use this, paper and pen. When this morning I've been offered whether you want to use the iPad, that already invented since 2000. In 2023, I'm still using pen and paper. That's transformational. It's difficult, even from a personal perspective. So, from your slide, you have two-side comparison between whether this is side-by-side or transformational. So, what do you think the best from both of them?
Yeah, I think it will be a very long answer, but let me try and give you an example. So when you started introducing Michelle and myself, you used Scarlett to introduce us, as well as you use your own notes to do it. So yeah, you were using automation as well as augmentation of your own notes to it. So that is what transformation is, like where you need the help, you use that, and other places you augment it. We see both the approaches has been successful. It depends more on the organization. The example that I took about Philippines, that organization put a large workforce to say, okay, everything I'm going to change in 6 months. And they were able to do it. And then we have other examples where we mentioned about, which is more large, which is where I think the sample size would be much, much more, where small steps of changes are being done, what is immediately needed. So risks are there in both sides. There are no right answers or wrong answers, like what Michelle was saying. It's important to start, and you cannot shift on the fence now. Digital transformation is going to happen. You have to become a digital enterprise. You want to add anything to it?
Yeah, and I think there is, there's no one answer fits all, right? Because we talk to clients that say, listen, I want to kind of digitize my system, but you know what? I don't want to change any of my working ways. We have been working for 10 years in a way that we work today, and we don't want to change that. Business doesn't want to change the way they do things, right? And when that is the case, then a transformational approach will never work. For transformation, you need the business to come along and say, listen, we are willing to change the way that we work and make sure that it fits the technology in the best possible way we can leverage it. Right? And no company is the same. Some companies say, I don't want to change the way I work, and for those a kind of step-by-step migrational approach is better, that Priyank laid out. And there are companies that say, no, we are willing to change, we're willing to transform, and for those companies, a transformational approach is definitely better. We see companies that have customized systems over the last 10 years. They don't want to get rid of their customizations. They don't want to change. Those customers will find it very difficult to jump onto the new solutions. And we have customers that say, we are now open for change. We want to do things best class. And those customers, right, we are able to get our newest solution successfully deployed.
Okay, thank you very much. So all of us agree that it's not a single solution for all. So we need to assess first before we choose which one is the best. And then I think the next question is relates to what we discussed earlier. Do you know what is expected from the potential customer with the system? And what situation do you still make people not wanting to go digital? I think this also still the same, right? It's because it's hard.
Yeah, so again, so I think the first question, like what is expected from the potential customer, first and foremost, don't try to create legacy 2.0. You know, what happens essentially in the change management and you try to go for a digital transformation, there's a tendency, okay, my process was like this and I wanted, even in the new transformation, it to be same or very much similar. The answer is, it doesn't lie there. The whole transformation means it will be a difficult change from operational efficiency to the way you do distribution, to the way you set up the product, roll out the products, the way you do underwriting, the way you manage the claims, the way you interpret data for personalized offerings. I can give you n number of examples. So what is expected the potential customers or whom we interact with, we always tell them, don't try to create a legacy 2.0. And the second part of the question was like, if I put in my words, like, can somebody still decide to sit on the fence and don't do it? I think the answer is no. It is an emphatic no. Every customer, I mentioned about over 200 plus customers we are interacting in the region. Every discussion, every dialogue is about, if I cannot do it holistically, can I start small? How will it help me, whatever investment I put today, will it help me in future too, if I choose a modernization part? And it can be as small as starting with a RPA tool or working on the front-end side or a mobile app. Or it can be as big as doing the entire transformation. But yes, I don't think that there is a choice there. Yeah. Every insurance company is looking to become a digital enterprise.
Thank you very much. I think this is a very interesting session. So I'll start to embrace the change. I will change myself from not being seen from there because I'm too small. Now I'm going to stand up and then wrap up the session. So implementing technology has never been an easy decision. It needs cost, it needs effort, but you still can seek for help with the solution provider and also from the industry, from everybody. So what is your appetite now to be implemented in your company? Have you considered that? Given we have a couple of sessions, we provide some of the insight about the risk and the technology. And every insurance company have a different journey, and it must be done sooner or later. I quote from your comment on the presentation that important to start, and then the decision to start is yours. So thank you very much, Priyang and Michelle, for the session. And now, I will invite Bapak Freddy Tamrin for the token of appreciation.